again, guess what? It's Thursday, it's just gone 8 o'clock at night, and that could only mean one thing. It's the news, look at the news for the week, midweek news. Look for the news midweek, week news thing. And what a week it's been. Apparently I'm online, who knew? Anyway, if you want to join in the chat, feel free. If you're watching this later on, then also feel free to get yourselves in the comments section and have a comment or two. We had an American, well, someone who was declared to be American, joining us last week. So we'll see what turns up this week. The big question I'm asking is Trump a hero or a dangerous nutter? And I listened to a speech to him that he did yesterday. I watched it live, and I'll be honest with you, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Kept going on about it. It was some kind of economic group thing and somewhere or other. It was quite serious and quite involved and everything, and he was kind of wittering on about it, about God knows what. I don't know. I don't think he knew what he was wittering on about. You know, he used to slag off Biden for talking shite, but I think Trump takes it to a whole new level. Anyway, Trump, Vance, and Elon Musk have all been involved in the war in Ukraine, as in trying to end it, not actually involved. They're not like got machine guns and gone out shooting people or anything. So this is Trump's week so far this week. Hi Steve, you're on by the way. Hope you're good. So let's have a gander at the week, shall we? So Friday, which was the 14th, which was Valentine's Day. Oh, it was nice. That feels longer than a week ago. No, it's not. It is a week ago. That feels a very, 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 very long time ago. Anyway, Ukraine president says, which is Volodymyr Zelensky, more work needed as he meets US Vice President in Munich, but is worried about the US path. And he was right to be worried about the US path. Vance had earlier said the EU, oh no, we'll come to that later. But anyway, basically, Zelensky was getting a little bit like, maybe they're not in it for us. That takes us to Sunday the 16th. Remember, we're only doing Trump stuff at the minute. Russian and the... Oh, are you up? They might as well have guns given the Yanks. Well, yeah, they will have guns, but I don't think they've gone to anywhere to use the guns. Anyway, I can imagine. Oh, that'd be horrible. Anyway, Russia and US will start talks in Saudi Arabia, and the government say there needs to be a backup on it. Got to Tuesday. Trump is confident of peace in Ukraine, though Ukraine have not been included in the first round of talks. See where this is going, can't you? Sukiya tells Zelensky he has the UK's full support after Trump said that he, as in Zelensky, was a dictator and a terrible leader as well. Now, hang on a minute. His mate at the moment is Vladimir Putin, who, let's be honest, is a dictator and a terrible leader. Yet he chooses Zelensky to have a go at. And you're like, hang on a minute. Zelensky was elected in a democratic election. Yes, they've not had one since the war started, but can you imagine if they did have one? All the polling stations would be bombed. So hundreds of people, if not more, would die. So you can't really do that when you're in the middle of a war. I think the majority of Ukraine people are still behind having peace in Ukraine. I just didn't know where Trump was coming from. It was almost one of them moments, like when he was on about the COVID-19, and he was doing that thinking out loud. Now, I do a lot of thinking out loud. I get my best ideas from talking to people and actually thinking about stuff while I'm talking to them. But I don't do it in front of the world's press. And what Trump did during the COVID was come up with this brilliant idea of drinking bleach and or disinfectant to kill the virus, because that would work. And there was some poor woman who was obviously something to do with the doctors and the medical specialists and all that, who was squirming in a chair. If the ground could have opened up and swallowed her, she'd have leapt in. But yeah, he does come out with this nonsense. And you're like, how can you even consider Zelensky to be a rubbish leader when he's kept his country, despite the might, I use the term used loosely, of Russia trying to take the country off them with aggression, with bombing apartments, with bombing infrastructure, which is illegal, is a war crime. I mean, basically, Putin is a war criminal. I mean, let's be honest, Trump is a federal criminal as well. He's the first president who's been given a federal what was it? A guilty verdict in a federal crime. So yeah, maybe the crooks stay together. I don't know, but it is worrying that Trump thinks he can just come out with this stuff. There's been a lot of backlash, and for the second time in, well, a couple of weeks, if not a week, I agree with Keir Starmer, and that is we need to support Zelensky's Ukraine, and Zelensky is not a is not a dictator. Although I think Trump wants to become a dictator. Maybe he's jealous. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he thinks, well, hang on, if we go to war, if I pick a war with someone, then because we're at war, we don't have to have elections, so I can stay president of the United States forever. I mean, it worked for Margaret Thatcher. It's working for Zelensky, in his opinion. It's working for Putin, although it's not really. And it definitely worked for Winston Churchill because... no, it didn't. As soon as the war was over, he got kicked out. He got back in again afterwards, but he did get kicked out because he was a terrible leader, apparently. But anyway, is Trump a villain or a hero? Now, I said that Musk is the perfect Bond villain because he's pretending that everything he does is for humanity and the good of people and everything, and then he comes out with loads of bullshit about this, that and the other. And you think about it, he's got all these minions working for him around the globe. He's got all this power with the social media. He's got space rockets that can go to and from space, much better than the Boeing ones anyway. That's not saying much. He's got factories around the world. He's now got all the power that he wants, that he can have, because he can't actually be president of the United States because he wasn't born there. He was born in South Africa. But his kids can. So maybe it's, I don't know, maybe we need to send in James Bond to sort these lot out. Although obviously James Bond is no more, spoilers, sorry. So maybe we just send in Johnny English. There you go. Oh, no, Silence agrees. Johnny English? No, she's not agreeing anymore. Oh yeah, she is. So yeah, we'll send Johnny English in, and he will sort it all out. Sort it out, mate. Sort it out. What's up with you? Gets having a moan about something. She always does. Anyway, let's go on to the actual news of the week. So again, we start on Friday. J.D. Vance, the Vice President, who's apparently a bit of a... has said that the EU is overdoing its... I mean, I'm all for free speech and all that, but... What's up, Silence? Just be quiet, please. I'm trying to do a serious show here. And you're meowing in the background. It's very off-putting. Where are you? Right, what are you doing? What's up with you? What's up? I give you food. Change your water. Give you clean litter tray. So what's up? What's up? You can't go out because it's raining and you don't like the rain. Right then, shall we crack on? Sorry. Interrupted by a feline. So, let's get myself back in position. So yeah, we've got all this kicking off, and he's basically said, Vance, that the crackdown on free speech is worse than actual, well, anything else that's going on in Europe. He thinks free speech is very important. I agree, completely. God, I'm agreeing with the bloody Americans now. What is going on? And JD Vance being one of them, that's even more worrying. But yeah, he's right. All this sending people to jail for having an opinion on something, which is what our glorious leader keeps doing. Has that camera moved? Have you moved the camera, Silence? There we go. Oh, she's back again. Trying to concentrate here. Right, she's gone. Right then. Yeah, it's shocking what's going on at the minute. I mean, you're more likely to get arrested for saying something in the UK or Europe now than you're in Russia. Okay, maybe not, but it's getting there. There was also a Russian attack on the dome over the Chernobyl nuclear site, which is a protective dome that they built. It's now got a hole in it because of a attack by a drone. There's a video of the drone coming in. Now, Chernobyl is in Ukraine. Everyone thinks it's Russian, but it was Russian owned when it went off. It was part of the USSR then, but then Ukraine kind of split away. So Chernobyl ended up in Ukraine, which is why you can visit it when there's no war on and go to Pripyat and all that kind of thing. Yeah, attacking Chernobyl, that makes no sense to anyone. Anyway, let's get back to British politics. Rachel from Accounts insisted that she had no knowledge of the probe into her expenses when she was at HBOS, which was Halifax Bank of Scotland. Now, she wasn't... No, she was customer services, wasn't she? No, she wasn't. She was an accountant. No, she wasn't. She was... Oh, God knows anymore. I've given up. I give up even thinking about it anymore. But yeah, apparently now it turns out that there was some inquiries going on into what she was on about. Don't worry, Alan, you are fine. But she said she didn't know anything about it, even though the stuff that she obviously did know about. Tragedy on Valentine's Day, a woman was shot in a pub in Kent. Saturday the 15th, a Syrian man stabs 5 people in Austria. A 14-year-old boy dies, and there was two die following an attack in Munich. Allegedly, both these assailants were asylum seekers. The shooter, who shot the woman in Kent, entered the water, apparently, which turns out it was her husband. It's just horrendous. Sunday the 16th, government offer millions to UK steel industry due to the Trump tariffs of £2.5 billion. So basically, the government have now decided that they're going to save the British industry, which we've sold out to China, which makes no sense, and I've said this all along. Austrian police say the attack yesterday was an Islamic terrorist one. This was a Syrian man. It was pictured grinning, like, you know, what I've done kind of thing, sat on a bench in the town centre. Monday the 17th, Delta Airlines plane crash lands and flips upside down in Canada. All passengers, 80 of them, and crew escaped with their lives, although some were injured. I think there's only 2 still in hospital at the moment. Sir Keir states America should put in a backstop and may consider putting our troops on the ground in Ukraine if there is a long-lasting peace, and he will meet Trump next week. Turns out he's going to meet Trump next week with Macron. The first day of the talks on Monday in... where was it? wherever it was. They're basically trying to see if Russia is serious or whether or not they're just playing along, because they're still bombing, they're still doing drone attacks and everything, so it does make you wonder how serious it actually is. Government says already hit extra 2 million appointments, meeting an election pledge. Well, that's one. How many have they not met? Take my socks off and have a look, shall we? I mean, yeah, absolutely incompetent fools. Tuesday the 18th, Pope Francis is suffering from pneumonia in both lungs. He's 88 years old. Early release of prisoners in Scotland for the first time. These are non-violent prisoners. Well, not all of them. Rick Butler, dead at the age of 69. He was the drummer with the Jam, and I've been playing a bit of Jam in the shop for the last couple of days. And it's funny, isn't it, when someone dies? I mean, you hear drums in records, and you hear drums in tunes and things like that, but when the drummer dies, it's funny how the drums suddenly come from the background to the foreground, and you think, my God, what genius. Wednesday the 19th, inflation leaps by the highest amount it's leapt in 1 month to 3% from 2.5%. It's going to go higher. As I said, as soon as she did the Halloween budget, Rachel from Accounts, I said, what's going to happen is, if you employ people and their NI contributions go up, then you are going to have to pay more for that. The minimum wage is going up, or the working wage is going up, or both are going up, so you're going to have to pay more for that. If your income doesn't pay from customers coming into the shop, where are you going to get the money from? You're going to have to put your prices up. I say a shop, it could be a restaurant, could be a pub, could be anything. So, yeah, this is always going to happen, and inflation will go up considerably higher over the next 2 or 3 months. A huge sinkhole appears on a housing estate in Surrey, followed by another sinkhole in the same housing estate in Surrey. The irony being that it's not actually rained a lot recently. Usually sinkholes come with heavy rain, but it's been actually quite dry up to today. Talking of which, Thursday the 20th, UK-Norway ramp up defence. They sign an agreement to stop Russia interfering with cables under the sea. Rumours were that there was a Russian ship a few months ago that dragged an anchor along the seabed, which cuts a few cables, which is basically where the internet is. You all think the internet goes through satellites in space. It doesn't. We have a number of cables across the Atlantic that connect the internet with America and Europe, and obviously if they get cut, then the internet goes down and all chaos will ensue. As I've said all along, World War III will be a cyber warfare, because everything's online now. All you need to do is shut down the internet in a country and it is screwed. Money, keep using cash, please. Jerry Vance saying everything is on the table regarding the regarding the Zelensky and Putin warfare. Spanish football former head is found guilty of kissing one of the team after their win in the Women's World Cup. Again, don't really know what's going on there, but I can see it from both sides. But we will have to wait and see. And Pope is ill. He's still in hospital, but he is improving. He doesn't have a fever. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Although I'm about as religious as this remote control, which isn't very religious at all, if I'm being brutally honest with you. So, that brings us to the news that makes you go, ha, 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 or not, depending. These are a... sorry. Just that picture. Morrisons have a sense of humour, apparently. Who knew? This is Valentine's Day meat tray for one. So you get 2 burgers and a sausage, and it's £3.87. To be fair, it does look quite good. But I should have had one of them, shouldn't I? I don't shop at Morrisons. There isn't one in Wigan, to be fair. But I should have shopped at Morrisons, because that is hilarious. It reminds me of something, but I can't think what. Meanwhile, I'm resigning from the position of Downing Street's cat as I have morals and dignity. I simply cannot live with this wanker any longer. So, a little plinth and everything for him to speak on. Beautiful. David Walliams says, I'm not going to apologise for saying Keir Starmer could satisfy Katie Price as he's a massive prick. No, I won't apologise for that either, and I won't do. Free speech, you see. Brandon sent a message, heartfelt. Thank you, Mum, for making me food so I don't die. Oh, you ever had a family photograph? No, me neither. But one of the kids is going through a phase. Oh, genius. I Dream Frequency, hope you're good. Have you ever been on an aeroplane and not got what you paid for and complained about it? Seriously, at Ryanair, I paid for the window seat. Sent a picture. Ryanair sent a picture back with a circle around the window, which is about the same size as my pee-pee hole. But yeah, it's still a window. It's your wife, sir. It looks like she's been hit by a bus, say 2 police officers outside a house. The door's open, and from inside, the husband says, I know, but she gives a great BJ and keeps the house spotless. Oh, it's very toilet humour today, I do apologise. The Human League, banned in the 1970s and 80s, admission 20p to see them. On Tuesday night, Days of Grace, 60p. And Wednesday night, stars of the album Jubilee, Adam and the Ants, 60p to watch them. We've had a bit of inflation since then. Human League were obviously still in their Circus of Death, that one, which was, a long while ago. Hi Angela, hope you're well. Billions impacted by major outage in Australia. Around 30 million Westpac customers are reportedly being affected by a major international outage online and mobile banking services. The bank has issued an apology after receiving almost 3,000 reports, with 52% relating to mobile banking and 42% to online banking services. As I said before, if you're going to do a war, just shut down the economy by absolutely smashing the internet out of countries. That's all you need to do. You don't need to kill people. You don't need to bomb people. You don't need to blow shit up. You just need to get rid of the internet, and the whole world will just grind to a halt. Mind you, some things are a little bit more, basic, like, painting stuff on the floor, like important road signs, safety warning signs for pedestrians, for example. I don't know what made me think of that. But yeah, look left with an arrow pointing right. You had one job. You literally had one job. Led Zeppelin. Hey, I think it would be hilarious if you guys started a rock music themed bakery and called it Bread Zeppelin. Always, anyways, a big fan, smiley face. They replied, what a stupid fucking idea, and then blocked them. Which, harsh but fair. The X-Files is an American science fiction drama television series created by Chris Carter. The original series aired from September 1993 to May 2002 on Fox, spanning 9 seasons with 202 episodes. A 10th season of 6 episodes ran from January to February 2016. And there's a picture there of Mulder and Scully. Oh no, hang on a minute. No, it's Gail Platt and David Hillman from Coronation Street. But there is a hell of a similarity. Solar-powered cats. And there's a line of 5 cats. And they're literally in a cat width. Literally, they're all sat down in a line, which is a shaded area apart from the line that they're all in, which is the width of a cat. And I've seen my cats do that in the past. If you've got a gap in the window in the curtain and the cats fall asleep, and then the sun obviously moves, well, the sun doesn't move, the planet moves and spins around, so that the sun light coming in moves, and they can't stand up, move, and go back in the sunlight and fall asleep again. Oopsie! Hello! Now, I did say last week that the Gulf of America, aka the Gulf of Mexico, is having some rather amusing names given to it. So we've now got Gulf of Kinslayer, which is, that's Perla. And we've also got Kurgabing, fast food chain, and the Gulf of, men's PP discharge. Nice. You've missed Trump's latest gaffes, yes. Labour to ban foreign home buyers in the property market. Now, this is a good idea. This is in Australia. Labour has pledged to ban overseas buyers from purchasing existing property for at least 2 years as of April the 1st, 2025. International buyers have spent almost $5 billion snapping up property between 2022 and 2023. 5 billion Australian dollars equates to about $2 million of American money. The evil mastermind, that is Elon Musk, says he will release the smartest AI on earth this Monday coming. Billionaire, well, he is a billionaire, but James Bond villain, Elon Musk revealed that AI's latest artificial intelligence chatbot, Grok 3, will be unveiled on Monday. The live demonstration is scheduled for 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 a.m. GMT on Tuesday. Musk, who has been vocal about capabilities of Grok 3, described it as the smartest AI on earth. Maybe we should get that run in America instead of Donald Trump. That'd be an idea, wouldn't it? Trump, yes, we've discussed Trump. We're coming back to him, so don't worry. I will go back over the Trump stuff in a moment. If you shop in England, we've got a club car price at Tesco there. Bacardi spiced rum, 700 cl, £13.50 normal price. Club card, £13.13. So you save yourself 2p with a club card. Whoopee! What can you do with that? You actually get more money from actually buying it because you get a penny per pound. So you actually save 13p. So our dog just brought the sprinkler. So our dog just brought the sprinkler in through his doggy door. How's your day going? So yeah, there's a picture of a dog there with one of them sprinklers that you have in your garden that sprinkle the garden. And yep, it's in the house. The most American grocery store aisle I have ever seen in my life. And it's got in it beer, pizza, potatoes, guns, Bible and sweatpants. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's a fucking massive aisle. But if you think of America, those things do generally crop up. Sony has a patent to make a TV that only stops showing commercials if you stand up and say the brand name out loud. It basically means it's listening to you and watching you as well. So Sony are going to go bankrupt soon, aren't they? Now, I always think safety first. You know, if you're a fire officer and you're trying to put a you're trying to put a fire out, the last thing you want is vehicles driving over your hose pipe and therefore cutting out the water supply for a second or two each time it goes over. So what you have is these little ramp things. Brilliant. Problem is, they don't work that well with trains. Hashtag just saying. Let me know when you see it. Now this is it said do a screenshot of this, so I've done a screenshot of it. That's a screenshot. I mean, it's Michael Jackson. I could see it was Michael Jackson before I did the screenshot. So I've done the screenshot and it's Michael Jackson. I really don't actually see what the point was. FIA swearing ban claims its first victim. So the leader of the FIA, who there's now a petition to get rid of him, has said that motorists, racing drivers can no longer swear either whilst racing on the radio or when being interviewed after a race. And you're like, hang on a minute, I don't watch a lot of football, but I've seen footballers swearing on the pitch. You can't hear them, but you can tell what they're saying. All that kind of stuff. And he's, get rid of him. No, he is as bad as Starmer. We're still talking about him. And there was the news that I saw of Rick Butler passing away, the drummer of the Jam. Always seemed, when he was interviewed, as a really nice guy as well. Let's go back to the Gulf of I'm a stupid crybaby bitch. Sorry. Now I like this a lot, although it might cause more accidents than it actually stops. Dragon teeth. Have you seen these new 3D dragon teeth markings around Adelaide? What are dragon teeth markings, you may ask? They're painted triangles arranged in pairs on each side of a lane to alert drivers of a changing road environment and reduce the speed of traffic. The only problem is, because they look a bit 3D-y, I'd be slightly worried that people might swerve to avoid them and it might cause more accidents than it actually solves. But you can tell who's designed them. It's that guy who has them footpaths in, I think it's India or somewhere, where he does all these drawings of stairs and things, and then he goes down the stairs and gets a bucket of water and throws it over it. He's got a dog that won't go over it because it's like, oh, look, it's I'm going to drop down, like that. And then he throws a bucket of water over it. Not the dog, over the drawings, and it's just a draw. Did you know a car going 5 miles per hour slower than surrounding traffic has a greater chance of causing an accident than the one going 5 miles an hour faster? Yes, I did, and I've known this for a considerable length of time. When I was a child, a small child, i.e. under 10, and my stepfather and mother and myself and the dog used to go to the caravan in Southport, we'd be on the M61. There was no M60 back then. We'd be on the M61 driving towards, it's Blackpool, driving towards, no, it was Southport, and we cut off at Chorley and then cut through that way. And I was in the back seat of this Mini, and it was a Morris Mini, so it wasn't a big Mini, it was one of the original Minis. Think of the original Italian job Mini, one of them. I'm sat in the back, and we're doing 50 mile an hour on the motorway. Now back then, lorries didn't have restrictors. Lorries could go as fast as they wanted to. And I'd been looking over my shoulder the entire time, absolutely bricking it that we're going to be rammed by a lorry. The number of lorries that sounded the horn at us and all that kind of thing, it was just absolutely ridiculous. Which is why the first opportunity I had, I never went again, and that's why I ended up being a feral child, getting on the bus and going all over Greater Manchester on the bus, because I was feral. But yeah, and even today, you notice it. I mean, I think I mentioned it a few times on my drives. You know, someone in lane, particularly if they're in lane 2 and they're doing like 65 mile an hour, and there's no one in lane 1, and then we're all belting up at 70 mile an hour or whatever, then that's where accidents get caused. Meanwhile, I was talking about steelworks in the UK. In Australia, the South Australian government has officially moved to push the Wair Ali Steelworks into administration after passing special legislation through Parliament. Premier Peter Malauskas has appointed an advisory firm in an effort to handle the tens of millions of dollars owed to the government and creditors. Now, what they need to do is stop importing from China and actually build their industry up, because if they don't, then they won't be able to build anything in Australia except for things made out of wood. There ain't a lot of that. Going back to the FIA, Gordon Ramsay calls out FIA for swearing ban during the F175 event, which I didn't watch. His mic was cut out. So, Gordon Ramsay was asked what he thought of the FIA swearing ban during the F175 event, but had his mic cut out. Gordon had to say this: "These athletes push themselves to the extreme, so sometimes when it comes out, let them be real, let it go. They're risking their lives every time they travel over 200 miles per hour. So if the shit hits the fan and the mic cuts out, unbelievable. No, the wood's got more personality than Keir Starmer, as does this rock. Scientists revealed why asteroid 2024 YR4's chances of hitting Earth impact keeps rising as NASA bumps up the odds again. So it was 1 in 42, it's now 1 in 20 odd, but it still means there's a 90% of a chance of it not actually hitting us. No, it's not, it's whatever it is, I can't do math. But basically it looks like a whale. Have you ever seen Star Trek A Voyage Home? There you go. Now this asteroid, if it hits Earth, will cause major havoc. We may hear it everywhere on the planet, and it may impact the weather for a considerable length of time. It will also decimate wherever it lands. But it's something to do. I saw it on the BBC. They have a massive circle of probability of where this thing's going to hit, and we're in that, but we're quite small because it's a massive area. The closer it gets, the area gets smaller that it's going to hit, so we get bigger within that area, which means the probability goes up, even though it's not actually gone up because the thing hasn't changed direction or anything. It's not aiming for us. And then eventually, hopefully, the area will get that small that Earth is completely outside it, in which case it's not going to hit us at all. So don't worry about it. It's disturbing, but we could be crushed by a massive rock. But not to worry, with any luck it might hit the Gulf of Depeche Mode. That's the last one, I promise. All well and good. Oh, it's a well that sucks. Oh no, sorry. Well, that sucks. Talking Boris again. There we go, asteroid again. The asteroid was discovered heading towards Earth's general direction in December and has been the focus of space agencies ever since. So yeah, the risk is going up and going up and going up. Two killed in a US mid-air collision. This is not related to the helicopter and everything. This was in Arizona. Not passenger planes, light aircraft smashing into each other. If you wear Bridget Jones pants, don't worry. Apparently everyone's doing it now. 4 in 5 31 to 45-year-olds say they prefer to go big, while 51% of 18 to 30-year-olds said they have switched from little to large underwear, a new survey has shown. I mean, who talks about their underwear? Well, I do. I wear boxers, jersey boxers, very nice. They got buttons in the front, but you never use the buttons. I don't know why they're there. Baywatch star unrecognisable as she goes makeup free during the BAFTA celebrations. So who is that? Who is it? Who can it be? 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 Pamela Anderson brushed shoulders with other A-listers in a plunging dress, having completely ditched her makeup to try and reconnect with her roots, despite being snubbed by the BAFTAs. So she knew it wasn't going up on stage, so why not? Right, Trump's back. Gaza 2035 could become Middle East Riviera under the US control, says Trump. And this is his vision of it. Israeli PM Benjamin war criminal Netanyahu has shared bizarre plans for Gaza with AI-assisted blueprints showing the region flooded with futuristic skyscrapers and a railway. So, basically what I said a week, 2 weeks into this conflict, this is a land grab, this is ethnic cleansing, this is people displacement, that is what they're doing. Guess what? I was right all along. Who knew? Well, anyone with half a brain. Which kind of rules out Donald Trump, I'm afraid. So Donald Trump thinks, and he said to the Gazanians, the Palestinians, that what's the point of moving back there? It's been levelled, it's like a demolition site. Well, yeah, because your mate, Benjamin war criminal Netanyahu, has systematically levelled the entire region. Now, back in the day, World War II, yes, Britain levelled Berlin. We levelled various different cities, particularly in Germany, Hamburg and various other ones as well, as did the Germans in the UK. Obviously London, Birmingham, Coventry, Manchester to a degree, Hull and various other places as well, because that's the technology we had then. There is no excuse now. You watch the videos of the missile attacks in Gaza, where a building is hit and the whole building just collapses. Now they say, oh well, we're trying to kill Hamas. Hamas are terrorists. Hamas deserve to die. No one's disputing that at all. But you proved, Israel, that you can actually target Hamas in a building without damaging the rest of the building. There was an effort in attack in Beirut a few months ago where it was a second floor room in a hotel which had other guests in, and a little missile went into that and blew the people up who were in that room who were terrorists, Hamas terrorists. But no one else was severely injured, no one else was killed. The building didn't collapse, there was no fire, there was no nothing. So why did they level Gaza? Oh, they got these tunnels, we need to collapse the tunnels. Well, yeah, you collapse the tunnels by finding an entrance and then pumping gas down the tunnels. That'll kill everyone in there. Or flood it. Just pump millions of gallons of water in it. That'll get them out. That'll flush them out as well. You don't go around destroying buildings. So you can build this monstrosity. I mean, if this is something that Trump and Netanyahu have cooped up together whilst Trump wasn't president, then I think Trump is as complicit as Benjamin Netanyahu as being a war criminal. So yeah, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's a deliberate act to move people. A lot of the Palestinians are perfectly innocent people, women, children, just trying to go around their lives like normal people. They've got a horrible government, which, to be fair, were voted in, allegedly, as a democracy vote. But again, you don't really know with people like Hamas. But no, this is absolute bullshit. And this is exactly what I thought would happen. I mean, where are they going to put all the rubble? That's the next question. I mean, the BBC have done a documentary, which basically propaganda. They're claiming that they didn't realise that a 13-year-old boy who was doing the narration in the TV show was actually the son of a junior Hamas minister of, farming? I just thought it was some random kid. Admitted they didn't go into Gaza because they're not allowed into Gaza, but no, this is absolute bullshit. And Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested for what he's doing. Trump, if he's complicit, should be arrested as well. Biden, who was supplying missiles willy-nilly, knowing what was going on with them, to Israel, should also be arrested. And they should all be in the Hague War Criminal Court, along with George W. Bush and Tony Blair for the Gulf War, which was illegal and immoral, and all about oil and money. I mean, if this is what it turns out to be, then a lot of people have been hoodwinked, and I have no sympathy for anyone who are supporting the Israelis in this, as I have no sympathy for anyone who supports Hamas either. But anyway, it's meant to be the funny side of this thing, but we got a bit serious then. And yeah, Donald Trump and his absolutely level-headed mate saying that Zelensky is a dictator, whilst almost defending Putin, who is a dictator. I mean, if you vote for anyone other than Putin, if you stand against Putin, if you say what I say about Starmer in the UK against Putin in Russia, you're going to prison, and you'll probably have an unfortunate accident and die, or you might fall out of a 6-story hotel window or an apartment block somewhere, or accidentally commit suicide by shooting yourself 16 times in the head while sat in your car. And he thinks Zelensky is a dictator. I mean, the guy is... I just can't... It makes Biden look sensible. And that's what's worrying. I watched the speech yesterday with Trump, and he was... Elon Musk was sat there going, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, these two. All the world leaders are idiotic, clueless criminals. Yeah. I mean, I think you could probably, well, I don't know actually, thinking about it, could you drop a criminal off our great leader at the moment? Not so sure, because he knows a lot of criminals, doesn't he? Because he was he was letting a lot of people off allegedly for doing really horrible things to people when he was in the CPS. Oh yeah, don't forget Donald Trump. Bring back plastic straws, because paper straws are rubbish. Yeah, paper straws are rubbish, I agree. But you need to put wax on them. When I was a kid, we had paper straws. We didn't have plastic straws when you went to a fast food restaurant. And they were waxed, so they didn't kind of dissolve in the water or the drink or whatever you're having. So just wax them again. Straws are notoriously horrible things, plastic straws. And we've seen horrendous images of straws, because basically kids will drop them on the floor, they then get flushed into the drains then go into the rivers then go into the sea, and then a turtle ends up with a lockjaw because it's got a straw stuck in its mouth. Okay, maybe not, but certainly I think plastic straws are a definite no-no, but we need to come up with something better than what we've currently got. And I don't believe in metal straws either, because I don't think reusing straws is a good idea, because you can't actually clean them things because they're long and thin. Yeah. Anyway, McDonald's, KFC and Burger King could face food crisis with impending shortage. Major fast food chains could be hit by a crisis due to an impending shortage of salad items, including lettuce and pickles. Experts have warned that KFC, Burger King and McDonald's could all be impacted. But you're alright if you go to Taco Bell, apart from the fact you're eating at Taco Bell, which means you're probably not going to be alright. NHS issues over 1,000 prescriptions for vaping addicted children as young as 13. Children as young as 13 are being prescribed NRT, nicotine replacement therapy, for their addictions to vaping, which is being penned as an epidemic, experts say. Well, they are coming into banning them at some point in the UK. I think it's very soon actually, particularly the disposable ones and particularly the flavoured ones. In my opinion, the only flavour that vapes should be, by law, is cigarette flavour, because the only reason that you should vape is to actually stop you smoking cigarettes, because I personally think we're going to have a crisis in the NHS in the next 10, 15, 20 years, where all these people have been vaping for 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years are all getting lung diseases. Because do you know every chemical that's going into your lung? And do you know how many of them are natural? Do you know how many of them are not causing you permanent long-term damage if you vape? I think everyone who vapes should be ashamed of themselves, unless they're doing it to get rid of a smoking habit, in which case you should be ashamed of yourself for smoking in the first place. Of course, it's easy for me to say because I'm a non-smoker, never have been, but I think vaping is one of the most vile, disgusting things people can do. Disposable vapes kids use are already too large to be legal. It'll change nothing. Well, it's illegal for any children to buy any vapes at all. It is illegal to sell vapes to anyone under the age of 18. But I think it should be legal to sell vapes to anyone. They should be on prescription only from your pharmacists for people who are giving up smoking. End of. I haven't vaped for nearly 10 months now. Well done, Angela. I bet you feel better for it as well. Oh yeah, hello Flink. Hello Oopsie Daisy. I did say hello to you, didn't I? Yeah. I said hello to everyone. We're alright. Hell-raising new dating site launches for horny fellas with mullets. The dating game has changed in an absolutely massive way for men with mullets, and just as importantly for women who fancy blokes with the undeniably quirky hairstyle. Yeah, if you want to look like Jeffrey Dahmer, if you want a man to come round and have a meal with him, or have a relationship with him, and he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer, well, you fell to you're welcome to them. I mean, Jesus Christ, mullets. Mind you, it's better than having a face that looks like a scrotum. Neighbours star Ian Smith says playing Harold Bishop stopped him being a serial killer. And you're like, what? Ian Smith, perhaps better known as Harold Bishop from Neighbours, has revealed how playing the bumbling cafe owner for so long stopped him playing his dream roles of either a vampire or a serial killer. Well, you're like, oh, thank God for that. It wasn't going to be a serial killer because he had mental health issues and Harold Bishop saved him. No. It's it's the fact he wanted to play a villain. Well, he's not dead yet. He can still do it. But yeah, that reminds me. I need to get me. I need to check my balls later on. Anyway, sorry. Murphy Stout served in 300 more UK pubs as Guinness struggles to meet demand. Business is booming for Murphy's Irish Stout as Guinness is struggling to make enough to meet demand. Murphy's went from being served in 200 pubs to 500 pubs and is all the rage now with the millennials who actually decided that they wanted to destroy the Guinness market by just buying Guinness, drinking off a pint and then throwing it away. Now, I've not seen Murphy's in cans for a while, but I remember once, for some bizarre reason, and I don't know why, I was dressed head to foot in white. So I had white, like tracky bottoms on. I had a white t-shirt and a white tracky top on, and white trainers with white socks. I mean, I literally looked like a fucking ghost. And I've always drunk stout. I like it, and I used to prefer Murphy's. But I've gone on to Guinness now, obviously. Anyway, long story short, I saw a 4-pack and thought, oh, they look nice. So I picked them up off the shelf. As I picked them up off to the shelf, it's when they had the plastic around the top, you know, the 4 circles with the thing wedged in. One of them dropped straight down out of the... So I was only 3 basically, and the 4th one went straight down. It hit the ground, flat like that. It burst the top, so the Murphys went straight up me, including in my face and up my nose. It then fell over and shot down the aisle. So I then was walking around Asda with a brown stain that basically went straight down my middle, from my crotch area to my neck, and yeah, I was dripping. It was hilarious. Now I look back at it, it wasn't at the time. Everyone else thought it was hilarious, including the people who worked there, and it was before I worked there, so yeah, embarrassing. The UK has been rocked by 3 earthquakes in 2 hours, as one struck by 2 earthquakes in 1 minute. Since the start of the year, the UK has been hit by over 30 earthquakes. In recent days, 3 quakes have hit the Isles. On one village was rattled by 2 quakes in less than 10 seconds. I mean, you just think that was 1 quake, wouldn't you? You won't think it was 2 quakes. Now, I've experienced, I mean, we've had a few earthquakes while I've lived in Wigan. One of them I was in the car and the car kind of rocked a little bit. But the main one I remember was when I was downstairs. And for some reason I didn't have the telly on. So I was just downstairs, sat quietly. And I heard this rumbling and it sounded like an articulated lorry coming down the road really quick. And I was like, oh, it's an articulated lorry coming down the road really quick. That's a bit dangerous. And then I realised that the house was shaking. And then it kind of went past. And I looked out the window, because I stood up at that point, looked out the window and there was nothing there. Yeah, it was scary. It was scary. Nothing fell off, nothing got damaged, but I was scared. London Underground's most haunted line exposed after teen sees ghosts. I see dead people. London commuters have been given another reason to fear the tube, and it has nothing to do with crime. Smelly passengers are being uncomfortably close to fellow fare payers. So yeah, they're saying that the tube is haunted. Of course it's not, because ghosts don't exist. Oh no, it's not a ghost, it's Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson would rather have Putin rule Britain than imbecile Starmer. Imbecile. Former Top Gear host Jeremy Clarkson, 64, has said the only leader he would draw the line taking over the UK would be Congolese convicted war criminal Bosco Ntaganda. And you're like, yep, yeah, okay. There are a lot of millennials who would like a dictator, which is a bit worrying. I assume a good one, not a bad one. Adrenaline junkies film themselves skiing down erupting volcanoes as lava bubbles next to them. Barmy daredevils down skis to get up to close to the sizzling hot lava flowing out of the iconic Mount Etna in Scilly. Yeah, but they want to be rescued, won't they, if it all goes wrong? But I'd just leave them to it, to be fair. Aliens won't need redemption from God like humans do, claims Vatican leader. Jesuit Father Jose Funz, then director of the Vatican Observatory, was one of the first from within the Vatican to openly discuss the possibility of aliens coming to Earth. Of course, that means your whole religion is out the window, but again, remember, religion is entirely a control method, a control mechanism from cradle to grave. That's the only thing religion is. Doesn't matter what religion you support, it's just a control mechanism, so you behave yourself so that you don't upset your perceived God. End of. These people are idiots on lava mountains. You're not wrong. Brits are only just realising when Pancake Day is, and it will still have to wait weeks. Pancake Day is in the minds of many Brits. However, you might have noticed Shrove Tuesday isn't in February this year. Yeah, that's because Easter moves around a bit because of something to do with the moon. It's all very weird. Woman who claims to be Madeleine McCann arrested after landing in the UK. Juliet Wandlett was picked up by authorities at Bristol Airport in front of shocked fellow passengers after it was reported she had flown in from Wrocław in Poland. She's the woman who claimed to be Madeleine McCann being the 3-year-old who was kidnapped and murdered, many years ago now, in Portugal. The body has never been found, neither has the murderer. Putin launches citizen war on terror by letting drivers mow down killers. The Russian Duma has adopted a new bill that allows citizens in the country to use their cars to combat terrorism. It was greenlit following its proposal to the House of Parliament. So basically, if you see someone doing a terrorist attack, like shooting people or running around stabbing people, by law in Russia, you can run them over in your car. Now, I'm sorry, if I was in my car and I saw someone stabbing people and they were in the road, I'd fucking run them over anyway, regardless of whether it was in the law or not. Absolutely 100%. If I could stop someone from murdering people or harming people by using my car, I would do. I mean, it's never going to happen, but for it to be law, he's just opening up a can of worms there where people can run people. Oh, I thought it was a terrorist. Oh, he doesn't like Putin. Oh, definitely a terrorist then. No, mad. A specialist 3,000 strong Brit regiment ready to send Putin defiant message. A huge collection of British forces have been placed outside the Ukrainian border and are practicing while on hold, with officials claiming they are ready to jump in. I'm amazed. Well, no, there will be troops already in Russia and already in Ukraine that are undercover troops that, a bit like, if you get caught, we don't know who you are. North Korean Museum, 4-trip advisor reviews are even bleaker than you think. A woman has called a North Korea tourist spot as disappointing to come across. In a scathing review, she claims she had stumbled across the site by accident and was disgusted. So it's a museum all about North Korea, in North Korea. Propaganda. Babuza. Elon Musk claims Twilight is real and vampires exist in a baffling new theory. To be fair, in that picture he does look like Count Duckula. Elon Musk has reignited his bizarre theory that the US government is paying out funds to millions of people aged 100 to 150 while also referencing vampires. Oh yeah, I was on about this Trump speech earlier. I watched the Trump speech last night, and Trump was saying that Elon Musk had saved quite a lot of money because there were so many million people who were claiming pensions who were aged 100 to 110. And then there was, out of them, there was like another million or 1 million of those, were claiming pensions or the equivalent to 120. And then of those, there was like 750,000 to 130. And then he says, you know, the oldest person who's ever lived died at 129, and that was a one-off. Anyway, it turns out there's actual people who were claiming, there's one person claiming who's 250 years old. And you're like, there's something wrong with the system in America that allows people to do that, because surely to God, that's wrong. It was a bizarre speech he did, and I have to say that, I actually agreed with Trump and Musk in the fact that that is a blatant waste of money. He was also going on about all the hundreds of millions of pounds they sent to foreign aid and everything else, and it was just ridiculous. And again, you've got to think, are we doing the same thing? Are we paying similar amounts, or probably less amounts than they are? But here's going to turn off now. No, just turn off, will you? There we go. To these stupid charities. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So yeah, I agree. But yeah, there should be a system where, hang on a minute, 130. Get in touch with the Guinness Book of Records. 200, definitely get in touch with the Guinness Book of Records. Russians' prisons are nearly empty as Putin releases 2 cannibals and a Satanist. When Russian President Vladimir Putin realised he was losing more soldiers than he had available, he quickly turned to some of the country's worst prisoners, something Kremlin media appear to ignore. So yeah, they're basically, we've covered this before, but if you're a really nasty, horrible person and you've got a life sentence and you're in prison in Russia, if you agree to go and fight against Ukraine and you survive for 6 months, you are then fully pardoned for all your crimes, be it rape, paedophilia, murder, arson, terrorism, drugs, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're free to live your life because you've served the country for 6 months and not died. Yeah, that's me not going to Russia anytime, ever. North Korea's soldiers convinced they are fighting South Koreans in Ukraine. 2 North Korean prisoners of war have revealed that officers running their battalion told them that South Koreans were operating the drones used in the war against Ukraine. So basically, these soldiers don't know where they are. They don't realise they're in Ukraine. They think they're in South Korea, and they're fighting a war for South Korea when they're not at all, by any stretch of the imagination. Anyway, that brings us to breaking news. So this is the news that's broke whilst I've been breaking the news things. Pensioners to suffer another blow under Reeves' proposed cash ISA raid. Man who exhibited fixated behaviour towards Emma Ratkuna is given a restraining order. Keir Starmer responds to Metro readers' questions about housing plans. I bet he bullshits them all, saying, "No, it's £20 million, $20 billion, £20 million black hole, blah blah blah. What we're left with, blah blah blah." Car finance scandal risk blowing $5.5 billion pound black hole in public purse. Starmer under pressure to meet Trump's demands with a 3% defence spending. Reform members handed power to hire and fire leader, so it's not a one-man band. Heinz is making a huge change to baked beans for the first time in 150 years, which are made literally a few hundred yards from where I'm sat. Are millions of dead people collecting social security? Fact-checking Musk and Trump's claims. The Gen Z recruitment crisis that could wreck Starmer's defence spending plan. That's because they don't want to fight a war. They want to be social media stars rather than soldiers. Starmer says Zelensky is no dictator after Trump's rebuke. One thing I agree with Starmer on. Musk, Zelensky is despised by the Ukrainian people. Well, I'm not sure about that. Suspected terror attack in Israel as multiple buses explode in Tel Aviv. I think someone mentioned that in the comments. Sexual assault of soldier played part in her death. A tragic suicide of a 19-year-old trainee. A coroner rules. The bodies of 4 Israeli hostages handed over by Hamas. But they paraded the coffins, and that was labelled inhumane, which is correct. Hamas are scum. Britain loses James Bond creative control to Amazon. What? 2 serving UK armed force members could be jailed after admitting trying to sell cannabis. Oh dear. Revealed London boroughs on brink of bankruptcy beg ministers for £500 million in a long-term crisis solution. Parents of non-verbal schoolgirl kept in dark over incidents which saw staff member removed. Sri Lankan sex offender allowed to stay in Britain because he's gay. Well, that seems fair, doesn't it? I mean, this is absolute nonsense, isn't it? If you're a criminal, you basically, if you're a criminal and you're an immigrant, then when you've served your time, you're deported. No ifs, buts, no Wi-Fi. It's just gone. Why do they ship ships on bigger ships? Well, because it's cheaper, I would have thought. It was a difficult decision about to be made about Stockport bins. I'm not in Stockport, so I don't care. Angela Rayner is now under scrutiny for how long she worked as a home help. Oh dear. Full list of 23 quiz stores now closed as fashion brand falls into administration. Jeff Bezos asks followers who they cast as James Bond minutes after Amazon announces control of 007. So it's true then. Chinese electric car rivaling Tesla. Rachel Reeves should rewrite the rulebook on GPT growth, GDP growth even. Pensioners to get a one-off £100 after DWP winter fuel payment cut. Mathematician Dom Crawford to cover for Rachel Riley on Channel 4's Countdown. No idea. Sky lit up over area of Greater Manchester as mysterious fireball passes overhead. KFC leaves Kentucky. Susan Hall says she wants to throw Sadiq Khan into a black hole in a row over London's finances. Mysterious burst in brain activity during death could be evidence of souls. What? So that is the breaking news. So that's the news that's broke while I've been breaking the news. You're welcome. So how are we done tonight? We've got 8 people watching at the minute. We've got 5 likes. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Don't forget, you don't have to agree with everything I say. If you want to disagree with me, we can do that. But that's all part of the fun. So big shout out to Smiley Mac 20001, Alan Barton, Dream Frequency, Angela O'Kane, T, Upsy Daisy, Flink, yeah, so that's it. We've had 6-7 views, Just let you know, I may not see you next week. Margaret in Preston Hospital on Monday for major surgery and could be in for over a week. Yeah, don't worry, mate. Family comes first. I think Angela thinks that's funny. I don't think it's funny being in hospital. No, I'm joking. She's obviously laughing at something else. We're at 67 views, average is 608, which is pretty good to be fair. We've got 9 people watching at the minute. We've got 5 likes. I'd like to keep these down to about an hour if I can. And we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. So that's about long enough, isn't it, for me waffling on. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. I'll be seeing you. Until next time. Yeah, all the best, Alan. Bye.